Okay, so really excited for kind of an overview today. This is part of our Zero Hash Connect series, where we walk through and try to unpack some of the complexities around stablecoins. And today's focus is really trying to answer the question, one, what are the value, what's some of the value propositions of stablecoins, but also why do we have stablecoins across many different chains? And so really excited that many of the chains are represented today, and really excited to be co-hosting this event with Circle. So just wanted to give folks a quick overview in terms of how we break down the landscape around stablecoins. I think one of the key pieces to show here is that stablecoins are already here as a value transfer. I think one of the key things that was actually presented in a recent Castle Island report is that actually as crypto volumes have come down, stable volumes have continued to increase. And this kind of decoupling from trading and the purpose of stable coins purely as a mechanism for trading, I think is very much here. So you can see here the volume of stable coins have increased significantly over the last few years. So in terms of Zero Hash, how do we break down the world? We break down the world in terms of our value engine. We break it down by crypto, stablecoins, and fiat. And we believe that it's impossible to decouple any of these. So as you think about stablecoins and you pay for gas and network fees, that requires crypto. Also, bridging between stablecoins and fiat is incredibly important as well. So Zero Hash provides this value engine and provides this value stack to a whole range of different partners. We support multiple stable coins, USDT, USDC. We're going to be launching more stable coins later this year. And I think what's really important is that we support this across a whole different range of stable coins, a whole different range of chains. What Zero Hash does is we abstract away the complexity around gas fees, network fees, compliance, travel rule, all of these complexities as well. And Zero Hash now provides the rails to a range of enterprises. Our model is a B2B2C model, which effectively means that every end customer is closed to Zero Hash, and we have over 5 million end customers at this point. What's incredibly important is that we live in an increasingly interconnected world, and one of the value propositions of stable coins is this kind of network of networks that sits on top of the global world. And Zero Hash is now licensed and registered in a bunch of different countries, Brazil, US, Bermuda, Australia, Europe. And I think Europe's going to be one aspect that we'll cover today that is particularly interesting around stablecoins and how these different markets differ between, for example, US regulatory structure, the potential stablecoin bill, and also the European framework that is in place. So just really quickly, we're going to run through different stablecoin use cases. So one of the first, almost the entry for people into stablecoins is through on-ramps. And Zero Hash today powers many of the leading on-ramps, as well as the acquire processes that have entered into the on-ramp space, whether that be Nuvei, Stripe, and Shift4. So you can see here effectively how the on-ramp works. It's a very simple onboarding mechanism into stablecoins. So for example, if you're looking to send stablecoins to a partner abroad, you can do so through an on-ramping experience. So pay with stables. This is something that, for example, Stripe highlighted at their event earlier this year. The ability to pay with stablecoins, for example, in certain regions can allow for lower fees and a wider geographical acceptance. And this is also a product that Zero Hash powers today for a number of players. Something that we're really excited about is actually bridging kind of the Web 2 payments experience with Web 3 infrastructure. And by that, we mean, for example, subscriptions. When was the last time anyone actually subscribed to something and you push a payment? We think that one of the key unlocks is around the ability to pull using stable coins. And we break this down into two buckets. One is a centralized custodial experience and one is a non-custodial experience. And this is something that Zero Hash has launched, and is the ability to effectively provide pre-authorization, similar to the way that you may do so today with your debit or credit card, and actually pull stable coins. So for example, if you're a global SaaS infrastructure business, if you're a VPN, if you're one of the leading streaming payment networks, and you want to service people in Argentina, certain parts of Africa, this is a really powerful unlock. Some of the data points that we've heard is that in subscriptions, people are losing up to 30% of the value of the transaction. So effectively making certain regions almost uneconomical to operate in. Something that we're going to cover today in great depth is actually payouts through stablecoins. This is something that we power today for a number of different partners. We did a survey early this year where we surveyed over 2,500 freelancers around the world. And you can see here that Argentina is a country that comes up frequently. So this is, for example, I know that this is an audience where most of us work with people in a geographical distributed manner. Many of those colleagues wish to receive stable coins. If we look at Zero Hash, we have a big contingency, for example, in Brazil. About 30% of our team receives payment in stable coins. And the data really supports that this is something that is demanded by freelancers and global businesses. Another use case that we power, for example, a customer here that we power in this remittance use case is Felix Pago. This is effectively leveraging stable coins as the mechanism to transfer value cross-border, but on both sides there's a fiat bridge. And this goes back to my point about the value engine connecting both stables, fiat and crypto. This is an interesting use case where effectively both sides, the sender and the beneficiary, both receive fiat, but the mechanism for transfer is through a stable coin, making it cheaper, quicker in certain corridors that exist. A product that we recently launched is Fund with Stables. And this is effectively enabling partners to fund their brokerage account, their CFD account, their FX account in stables. And here we see a big adoption for partners that have a global client base that effectively, one, it's incredibly expensive to fund, and two, very, very slow. So if you think about a trader, even if you're a retail trader, the ability to fund your account and actually trade on an opportunity is incredibly important. You may not have 3 to 5 days to actually execute that trade. And so we've seen a big uptick here. Effectively, Zero Hash provides a drop-in SDK. Our partners receive USD, Euro, GBP, and the customer, again, is funding in that stable coin. Another use case that is getting a lot of attention is Treasury. And this is a very similar use case to the remittance flow, but effectively business to business between affiliates. It can be cheaper, faster, and also the ability to move money 24/7, 365 can also reduce the cost of capital. And then finally, one of the things that we've launched this year is Tokenization Rails. And our partners include Securitize, Republic, Franklin Templeton. And you can see here in the animation, the Benji institutional experience. Effectively, what you're doing here is you're bridging a tokenized asset. One of the value propositions of tokenized assets is to be able to move assets real-time, 24/7, 365. The problem is that the fiat rails don't operate like that. And so effectively, stablecoins provide this bridge and unlock for tokenized assets to actually unlock some of the value propositions of, for example, tokenized money market funds or any other tokenized asset or real-world asset that exists.